What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 250 subscriber milestone on the George Habib podcast. Guys, we finally did it. We crossed 250 subscribers on YouTube. That was the latest milestone. And honestly, it's all thanks to you guys out there. I couldn't have done it without your support, some support from friends and family, some support from strangers on the internet, and this helps us get a lot closer to making sure that this channel becomes a larger, better, and a higher caliber podcast. So we are actually entering 2024 with more than 250 subscribers. We're, I believe, at around 270 ish. And again, guys, I couldn't have done it at all without you guys. So thank you all out there for the support. Thanks to my sibling for this swag, swag, drip, drip. One of those words. And yeah, as part of passing this milestone, as also a way to celebrate the New Year's, I was collecting some questions online through Instagram, Facebook, YouTube from you guys. Questions about me, questions about the podcast, random questions in general. Yeah, to answer them and give everyone a better idea of all the great things that's coming up. So, yeah, happy New Year's to everyone out there. I'm going to take this off. It's too hot and I can't see because it's dark here. Yo. Nope, still too dark. Much better. So, guys, as I said, I've been collecting these questions to answer them for all you lovelies out there. And the thing is, even though I did list them down and I did read them, I have no pre prepared answers for these questions. So, what you see is what you get at the heat of the moment. So, having said that, guys, before we get into it, I actually have something I'd like to ask you all. We are trying to grow our presence across multiple platforms. They include Facebook, they include Instagram, they include Spotify. So please, guys, I encourage all of you guys who are subscribed to me and even those who haven't subscribed yet to please follow the George Habib podcast on Instagram down below, as well as Facebook, because we are really trying to get ourselves out there and we are actually noticing that it is paying off. We are having people reach out to us either to be guests, either to be subscribers, and it's really driving me forward. So I really would appreciate, guys. Onto the show. So yeah, starting with the first question. What will be your New Year resolution for the year 2024? I mean, I guess it's not really special. Like, I hope to get healthier. Number one, I hope to sleep more. I've been sleeping a lot between like trying to balance the podcasting, the exercising, and the 9 to 5 job. So I feel like if I get my 8 hours, things are going to get a lot better. Try to eat less junk because I'm always like craving sugar. Try to get out more. Try to get more sunlight, which is kind of impossible in winter in Canada and things like that. But if we're talking specifically about the channel, my New Year's resolution is, and I believe I've already said this on Instagram, is to reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, the reason 1,000 subscribers is an important number for me is because now I still consider myself as a person trying to build a podcast. In my mind, I haven't really made a podcast yet. I'm still trying to reach that level. And to me, that level is 1,000 subscribers. It's the level where you can undisputably, where I could at least undisputably say that no, there are people out there who like what I have to say, who really enjoy the guests I bring on, and who really want this channel to be a really successful thing that grows. Coincidentally, it's also the subscriber amount you got to have before YouTube puts you on their, I don't know what's called, monetization program. And given the topics I talk about, I don't think that monetization will come easily. So yeah, sleep more, eat healthier, be healthier. 1,000 subscribers. That's the plan for the year 2024. Another question: who would be your dream guest? So some people might think the way I've been talking, this could be Elon Musk, this could be Joe Rogan, this could be, I don't know, Norm Macdonald, but he's dead, so that's not going to work out. But maybe surprisingly, my dream guest would actually be the top author ever, J.K. Rowling. So you might be wondering why J.K. Rowling? Harry Potter hasn't really been relevant for a while now. But the thing is, when I was a kid, I really loved the Harry Potter books. I would always read them during class when I should be learning. I would always read them at home. I would always read them before I went to bed. And I feel like number one, JK was the first author who ever introduced me to a fantasy world that's really not my own fantasies in my head. And if we look at her story, it's really quite impressive. We have to keep in mind that JK was a single mother, if I'm up to date on my information, struggling in the UK. Nothing was really going well for her. She had to take care of her kids. She was working long hours to support her family. The guy wasn't in the picture. Things weren't looking great. And, we see the story every time where, like, she could have just, like, resorted to booze or just living a very mediocre life, never wondering what things could have been. But the thing is, things that could have been because despite all this bullshit, all these hardships, she stuck it out, wrote some novels, insisted that publishers read this novel about a little wizard boy, little British wizard boy fighting snake evil wizards and going to like magical school. And guess what? Eventually, one publisher loved it. The book went into massive publication in the UK, spread all around the world, turned into some major motion picture movies with some, I have to be honest when I say really unappreciative lead actors who need to realize who got them their fame. Looking at you, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. And then she became the first author to become a billionaire. But she didn't stay a billionaire long because guess what? She gave away the money. She gave away to charities. She gave away to good causes. And now she's just chilling, living off royalties. And she didn't give up on her dream, is what I guess I'm summarizing on this. She didn't give up on her dream. She did something that, let's be fair, a lot of people would say, "Oh, you're wasting your time, JK. Why are you writing like fantasy novels? Go work a real job and make some real money." And she proved us all wrong. So my dream guest would be J.K. Rowling. I hope it happens. We'll see what happens. On to the next question. Who is my next guest? So, depending on when this video is coming out, because it's not exactly on time, I apologize. My next guest is, let me check my schedule. The next guest would be Dale Valor. So Dale Valor, I had the pleasure of meeting him online in a podcasting group. Dale is a dating coach coming out of Michigan, but I believe he moved to Wisconsin. You'll have to correct me, Dave. And I'm looking forward to that conversation because I feel like millennials, Gen Z, our dating culture has become all kinds of fucked up. Like we got the apps, which I feel only benefit a few amount of people and kind of screw over everyone else. No one really dates like they do in the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s. Before that, like we're not really seeing anyone take out people, have a coffee, have a drink, and see if they like each other. There's potential for more. It's more just this like social media fluff, fake crap, and people are trying to predict the future all based on one text. So yeah, looking forward to recording with you, Dale. Okay, now this will require me to think. How would you rate my top five podcasters? I forgot to put an S on that. Apologize. So I'm not sure if I have a top five. I definitely have a top three. So I guess I have to start this in order. My number one favorite podcast is the Chrissy Mayer podcast. I don't think any of you guys have heard of Chrissy Mayer. Maybe you'll look it up after this video. I highly encourage you guys to do that. And the thing is, with Chrissy's podcast, she's a comedian based in the States, in New York. And so how it was is I stumbled upon her channel on YouTube, just scrolling. And when I found this channel, it was 5,000 subscribers. And now I believe she's already at 90,000. She's probably going to hit 100,000 subscribers soon. And what I liked specifically about this podcast is number one, her style. She's funny, she's authentic. But number two is I really got to see this channel evolve from like small guests who no one's really heard of, who some might see as a bit strange or sketchy. And like I've seen her build her production, her layouts improved, her settings improved, her mic quality, recording quality is improved. And I've seen her go all the way from like really a budget podcast into something bigger that's growing, that's getting big time guests. Now we're seeing her host comedians, actors, politicians, modern day philosophers, rap artists, musicians, people involved in modern day drama, and like just names that are starting that we would know. And that inspires me. And I hope she doesn't see this because this, if I get bigger, because this is kind of cheesy and corny, but it really inspires me because now it's like it kind of gave me hope that we don't have to start at like freaking 1 million like Logan Paul, who's already famous when he started his podcast. But it really made me feel like a person could start small and like scale to the point where they become a genuinely big podcast, which Chrissy is going to be, I feel, soon to be 100,000 subscribers. So that's number one. And I hope you guys check her out. Number two would be Theo Vaughn. So if you guys know, Theo Vaughn's a comedian. My opinion, he's a better podcaster. And he started podcasting 2 years ago. In the beginning, I thought it was just kind of a lame podcast. Like this guy was just interrupting people, trying to be funny. But no, as time went on, Theo became more of a deep individual in his own way. And he's got some massive guests on: Jordan Peterson, Sean Strickland, big comedians, Stavros, some other people. And if you watch if you watch his podcast, you know what I mean, where this guy seems to be very genuine because he's really listening to his guests. He's not really playing the fluff. And I don't want to like get into too much details, but really his episode with Sean Strickland, the UFC fighter, like really showed a very human side, which I really recommend people watch. So number two is Theo Vaughn. Number three would have to be Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan, he's got to be in your top five no matter what, because he's the guy that made every podcasting so famous. He's not the first podcaster. Some people may think he is, but he's not. But I believe he is the one who really made it such a big thing that inspired people everywhere to start their own podcasts. I also think he's got a great style where he's open minded for the most part. But when people really cross a red line when it comes to his principles, you will see him push back on that. So number three, Joe Rogan. Number four, number five is really where I don't really have any answers. I haven't really thought about it that deep, but I guess an honorable mention would be Trash Tuesday, which a lot of people who know me would think is not my style. It's three girls, uh, Annie, Esther, and Kalila. Some people know Kalila. She used to date Bobby Lee, and they just talk. They just bring on guests, and then they're just talking, shooting the shit. And I feel like Annie, she's a comedian. She's pretty funny, and they're just chilling. Number five, I don't know. I'm just Yeah, I don't got a number five. I really haven't thought about it that far, and I don't want to take too much time on this video. I would really have to think about number five. But a couple I feel are very overrated would be the Jocko podcast. The guys I feel the Jocko podcast and Lex Frieden podcast. For me personally, I don't want to take away any from their successes. They completely deserve the what they have right now. Oh, that was a weird noise. They completely deserve what they have right now due to their hard work and like brains. I just feel their episodes are too monotonous for me to really pay attention. So now on to the next one. So this is a good one. And it this question is, when your popularity increases, again I should have added an S in there, would you adjust yourself based on conformity for your viewers? So I guess that means and I'm happy you said when. I appreciate the when and not the if. I think this one is really asking, like, if I get more popular, will I change my views, like from my real views to just uh, parroting, mimicking, repeating whatever's popular at the time, even if my audience really wants to have those views on repeat? And the answer is no. No, I'm not saying my views won't change. Maybe my views will change time to time. No man or woman is a stationary item. We're always changing, we're always moving, things are always becoming different every day. I do believe times will come where my view changes based on a major event that's opened my eyes, or through reading literature and philosophy, or through, I don't know, maybe some character development on my part. But these will be things that come from within me, you know these will be things like these. My opinions will change based on me trying to be a better version of who I am, because maybe the opinions I hold right now aren't so great, and maybe the ones in the future will be a lot better, because we can always be wrong. And I feel there is an objective truth to things. We try to get stuck on subjective truths, but I feel there's a lot of objective truths out there, and we should follow the truth no matter what. So, if my popularity increases, will I conform to the general audience out there? Completely no. And I'll give you an example of some people who have like majorly big podcasts, who either they started conforming to the pressure of the audience, or they were never really unique and they just parrot stuff. Number one would be like the original, like OG YouTube channel H3H3. I don't know if it's called H3H3 or Hehe, but with Ethan Klein. So I think, and there's actually been a lot of videos on Ethan Klein regarding this. I feel Ethan Klein keeps like having guests, then the public pressure comes on, and then he backs away from his guests, like with Jordan Peterson. A lot of his audience didn't like that, so then he backed up his statements. But guess what? That didn't really improve anything, and now both sides were pissed off. And now he's just, I don't know. The channel seems to be a shell of what it used to be, and we just see him like repeat popular talking points or mainstream talking points. It's nothing special. If anything, people are watching that channel just to see his decline. And another channel would be, look, it's a really big podcast, Logan Paul's podcast. I forgot what it was called. Logan. I forgot what his podcast is called, but whatever Logan has on. And I really don't think that guy has any opinions of his own beyond his marketing team or his Instagram feed. Like, if you look at the guy, like when he's talking with his guests, these are very like rinsy, wishy-washy questions, and he doesn't look like he's paying attention, man. I feel like the true beauty of of his podcast is his co-hosts. One is Mike. I don't respect him. I'll get into why I don't respect him and people like him in other episodes, but basically has to do with his dating life. And the other guy, George, I cannot pronounce his last name, but he George at least has branched out and making his own George Yanko, but he's branched out into making his own podcast, and he's making his own success, and it's really picking up. So I respect him for that. Because guys, I feel like if you are making your own podcast, unless it's some niche which demands you to conform to to something like a podcast about mugs. You gotta love mugs. You can't just like come out one day and be like, "Hey guys, the truth is, I really hated mugs." No, but like if the podcast is supposed to be based on you and your opinion, because guys, this is all opinion. Very rarely are we 100% on the mark with the truth. So if you're making a podcast based on your opinion, you want to make sure you're giving people your authentic opinion. And if people don't like your opinion, that's fine. They if they want to, they can unsubscribe, they can leave, they can move elsewhere. But what you really want is a group of dedicated subscribers, followers, viewers who actually value your opinion, whether or not they agree with it, and who really want to hear what you have to say on the current topics. They didn't come to you to hear what everyone else parrots. You know, you see it on 1,001 podcasts, people saying the same shit again and again and again. You might as well not even remember the name of the podcast. They want you to be authentic, legitimate, and genuine. And we see this all the time where viewers will leave a podcast or unsubscribe or just turn their back on a celebrity because they felt that that person was being super fake. So, yeah, guys, my opinion will always be my genuine opinion. And that's how I want to keep it. I'd rather have 100,000 subscribers who genuinely believe in me than 3 million subscribers who are just there in name only and who might even give me a lot of shit for having my opinion. On to the next one. So I like this question and basically follows the theme of the previous question. Something that I may not agree with, but okay, sorry, something that you may not agree with, but you have a large audience who expects. So I don't think I have a large audience. I have a larger audience than before, and I hope it keeps growing. But I don't think you guys really expect me to have any specific opinions. And if you do, it's I'm not really here for that. I'm not really here for that. But I guess like some of my more controversial takes. I think I think dating apps are bullshit. You know, I think it's like a lot better to go out there, talk to the cashier, talk to the bartender, talk to the girls at yoga, gym, talk to your neighbors and stuff. And I really think that's the better way to, inshallah, form a relationship. Because I feel like on dating apps, people put like this very fake version of themselves. People are trying to fake their successes. You know, everyone's got a skydiving photo. And, you know, you really don't know what you're swiping left on. You know, maybe you're missing the love of your life. And shit, man, maybe you don't even know what you're swiping right on. You know, maybe you're about to swipe on a disaster. Worst case, it's a one night stand that leaves you crap. Sorry, best case, it's a one night stand that leaves you like crap, feeling like crap. And that goes for the ladies out there too, not just the guys. And worst case scenario, it's a horrible, superficial relationship based on social media appeal. So I guess that's one controversial thing. Uh, Another thing, maybe this is a little too patriotic. I believe in the right to carry firearms. I think everyone who wants to should have a right to be trained in firearms, have a license, and you know, because when you live in a big city in North America like me, Montreal, it's I don't want to say, guys, it's not getting any better. And then we see like homelessness, crime, things are getting worse. It's not that bad in Montreal yet, but it has the potential of being. And in the States, we see it in New York and California where, you know, the cops just don't come on time and things go very bad. I also think that, you know, ultimately, you can't trust your government to protect you. You can't trust your police to protect you. You can only trust yourself to protect you. And that means you have the right to bear arms, which is why I actually admire America. One of the few things I admire America for is the constitutional right to bear arms, which I believe is the Second Amendment. Please, Americans, correct me. And what's funny about this is I don't believe in hunting. So I don't believe in using guns for hunting because I really don't think it's fair to the animal. Because I see this in Lebanon a lot, where I'm from, where a guy will bring like a shotgun, like shooting like 50 pellets at the same time with like 8 shotgun cartridges in it. And they're like hunting a bird this big. And it's like, that's not really fair to the bird. That's not really like a fair matchup, a tiny ass bird versus a big ass gun with multiple bullets. And I also think it's not fair to animals on the animal safari, lions, giraffes, elephants, any other kind of animal. I don't think it's fair to the animal if you use a gun. It's a cheat. So when it comes to firearms and hunting, unless you're like in the middle of wilderness in Alaska, I don't believe in firearms for hunting. Now, if you want to use like a bow and arrow or a slingshot or a trap or a fishing rod, that's a completely different issue. That's a completely different game for me because, gives animals a fair chance. It's very sustainable provided you do it right. And, like we, it does put us in touch with our ancestors. I feel like I've gone off topic a bit, but I'm moving on to the next topic. I support the Second Amendment. I support the right to bear guns. I don't support using guns to hunt. And on to the next topic. So this one, I'm not really clear on what is being meant. Your opinion on Lebanon's ability, again, I need to put S's, Lebanon's ability to survive the war. So I'm not sure what war is being referenced here. Um, I think it's mainly meant with the what's going on in Palestine, Gaza, between Hamas and Israel. I know Lebanon is involved in that war in the southern border. Uh, Hezbollah's bombing Israel, Israel's airstriking civilian targets in Lebanon and Gaza. And I think the whole thing is really effed up, and it is a topic I want to uh, focus on in the future with the appropriate guests who are way more educated than me. So, will Lebanon survive this war? Um, yes, yes. I don't think the war is going to escalate beyond the southern border. I don't think Israel is really has the capacity, the manpower, the funds, even though the US gives them a blank check for whatever they want, unlike the military version of Alibaba. And no, I don't think anyone wants to escalate further than that. I think most of it is really a show. And I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. I think Lebanon will survive this. Damaged, but survived. What I'm really worried about is if Gaza will survive this. I'm really worried about if the innocent Palestinians, women, children, and the elderly will survive what's happening to them. And I will get into more details on that, but this is not the place for that. So, yeah, that's my answer for this question. Who can we expect to see as future guests on my podcast? Well, number one, J.K. Rowling. I hope I fantasize. Maybe I am, what's it called? Deluding myself that it will happen. I hope. But really, guys, my plan is to bring people with valuable stories. So I want to get people in different positions like firemen, policemen, soldiers, doctors, lawyers. Like, these are very big positions in our society. They change a lot of people's lives. Some of them deserve a lot of praise. Some don't. Respectfully to some lawyers out there. My honest opinion. And but if we're talking about and oh sorry, and not just those people, I hope to bring politicians on. I hope to bring celebrities on, comedians. I hope to bring people on who've gone through traumatic experiences, which either some of us can relate with. So it's nice to see someone else talk about it and, more importantly, recovering from it, and which some of us hopefully will never experience in our lives, but do know people who have gone through the same experiences. And, this will help us understand them better. So people with stories that I feel will benefit us millennials, even Gen Z, and even the older generations. So specific guests, let me check my list. I'm not going to say their names just in case, the scheduling doesn't work, but we are going to have more veterans on, hopefully, from the Navy, from the Air Force, from Canada, from America. We are going to have people really involved in health. We're going to have people with podcasts of their own. We're going to have one interesting guest. I really hope to get him on, involved in neuroscience. And we're going to have a comedian on. And yeah, a couple of dating coaches coming up. Looking forward. I'm pretty excited for those ones as well, because you guys have probably noticed I really do have a gripe with how modern dating is being conducted. What have you learned about yourself so far doing these podcasts? That's heavy. What I learned about myself is I don't have any good angles. I'm never satisfied with whatever angle the camera or the mic is for voice quality or whatever. So there's that. I don't know. I genuinely don't know about this question because unless like it's some insecure shit, like I don't really know what to think of myself. I think that's more for you guys out there to put a judgment on, whether you're family, friends, or viewers or anything. I think whatever view I have of myself, whether positive, negative, can be heavily biased. And like, so when it comes to learning something about myself, I guess one answer would be I like podcasting. I truly enjoy podcasting, conversing with people from different wakes of life and talking about heavy topics. Guys, this is not going to be a loosey goosey, hippy dippy, kumbaya channel. I want there to be humor. I want there to be hope. And I want to explore the dark shit that's out there. Because I really think we shouldn't turn a blind eye to a lot of these things going on out there. What are some topics that I am looking to get into in 2024? Yeah, this is a very appropriate question, especially for the New Year's and the podcast. Number one is, in fact, and I hinted at this, the Palestinian situation, the conflict between Israel and Palestine, as well as other conflicts in Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Sudan, Myanmar, wherever people are dying for bullshit reasons, for no good reasons. And to me, like, I want to see all aspects of this. I want to see soldiers. Like, I want to interview soldiers. Like, how do you feel on these things? How do you feel like potentially entering like the wrong cause or having your friends die for some greedy people who should honestly just retire and die? I want to interview the people who've survived atrocities, like people who have been bombarded, people who have been shot at, people who have lost everything. And like how? Because I feel like these people were like us at one point, living normal lives, and then one day everything went to shit. How did these things come to shit? So I really want to cover these conflict areas in the future, but there's a lot of difficulty doing so because, fair enough, a lot of these people are afraid to come out and talk about their experience. A soldier doesn't want to complain about his own military. People who are victims don't want to relive their very horrific experiences. And people who are complicit in bad things don't want to admit they are complicit in bad things. So having a guest is on these topics is going to be very difficult. I've had people agree to talk about it and then bail, and I get it. It is a stressful thing to do to talk about these things, but hopefully, as the channel gets bigger, grows wider, we will have more people from all sides of conflict, all areas, opening up and being fucking human. Inshallah. Other things I want to cover. I want to cover a lot of hypocrisy stuff like abortion. And I know this is very heavy, but I feel abortion is one of those topics where there's a lot of hypocrisy on both sides. I want to again make a more detailed, well thought out video on this topic, but I feel like we got one side, which is the hippy dippy pro choice side, which I get it. We cannot really tell people what to do with their own bodies, but like, can we also like not glamorize abortion? Like it's not this great thing. A lot of abortions happen because of serious things like rape, medical issues, emergencies. And in my opinion, and again, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no on it. In my opinion, abortion is an indication of a failure. It's an indication of like the very loose thing, like the failure to wear protection, the failure to think of the consequences of your action, and also like a failure of being able to support a potential life, you know? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who wish they could have taken care of the child, who wish they had the resources to take care of a child and like raise their own and let out their genetic legacy into the world, but who, fair enough, cannot afford to do so in this very expensive world. It's very hard raising a kid. Also, some people like they may have been like too young. Like maybe they were pregnant at 12, 13, 14. You know, maybe they were pregnant and like everything was going to shit around them. We cannot trivialize it as like, oh, haha, it's something I can do whenever I want. It's a great thing, like a lot of protesters do out there. And also, having said that, now we go to the other side, where I want to talk about the hypocrisy of the pro-life crowd. The ones who say no abortion no matter what. And like, let's remove the medical arguments in favor of abortion, which is like, rape, risk to the mother, and all that stuff. A lot of these guys, the conservatives, the Republicans, the traditionalists, the religious, I feel personally they're always pro life until the baby is born. They say no matter what, you have to have the baby, even if it's got medical complications, even if it's like a product of incest or something. Baby's a baby, like all life is precious. And then when the baby is born, no free healthcare, no social services, no free education, no foundation to support mothers, especially if they're single mothers who have been abandoned by their spouses. Nothing. When that baby is born, suddenly it becomes another parasite trying to suck their tax dollars and then just grow up into like a menace of society. To me, guys, pro-life is, if you are truly pro-life, and to me, I think pro-life is best case scenario where everything does turn out well and no abortion is not needed. To me, pro-life is even when the baby is born, you give them the foundations, the opportunities, the chance to live a very healthy, productive, and fulfilling life. All life is precious, not just unborn lives. Anyways, I talked about that way more. I won't talk more about it in a specific video for this. But guys, yeah, I do want to talk about the hypocrisy of abortion. Other topics that I want to talk about, no freaking clue. Like, there's nothing really specific. I'm more like into the guest than the topic. Dating, trying to be financially successful, and like and like religion and death. I go crazy for religion and death. I love it. If you guys are out there, want to be guests and are experts in this, I want you guys. Next question. And we are slowly running out of questions, and I feel We're at a reasonable pace. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to start a podcast? Okay. Again, I am not so far in my podcasting career. I have not reached the point where I have the 1,000 subscribers. But even at this point, with 270 subscribers, I feel like I can give some advice and opinion, not wisdom. I don't have the wisdom. I have advice and opinion. Number one is start small, build big. You know, it's not, we are not talking about YouTube in 2008, 2009. We are not talking about an algorithm which lets new and fresh people get their content out there to other people who will hopefully subscribe. And then slowly that builds up and all of that. No, this is not the YouTube of today. The YouTube of today is a very whitewashed, controversy averted, um, playing it safe algorithm that really only wants to support things they can have sponsors on, and that list is really growing shorter every day. And if you just start out, do not even maybe I could be wrong, but even with like the right hashtags and keywords, you're not really going to grow huge on the goodwill of YouTube and other similar social media like Instagram or Twitch or whatever. I really think in the beginning, you need to get as many subscribers as you can from your local crowd, from your friends, from your family, from your colleagues. Maybe not colleagues, don't want you to get fired of your opinions, but like you really have to start small and really just self promote, ask your friends until you really can know more. This is what I did. I probably annoyed a few of my family and friends out there by being pushy about this, but I really did appreciate their support, and that's how I recommend. Then, as time goes on, build bigger, start reaching out to strangers on Facebook pages, Facebook groups, Reddit, LinkedIn, Twitter, and then like start with strangers. And then, as the subscribers come and come and come, go bigger, then go for professionals, other content creators, and then just like scale, like eventually, like it's, think of it as like stairs or a ladder, one step at a time. And whatever you do, and I absolutely have to recommend this because I feel a lot of people get burned out with this before they even manage to get anywhere, is pace your resources and stay motivated. Pace your resources, get budget friendly equipment, do everything yourself, because this stuff gets expensive. This camera is expensive. This mic's expensive. StreamYard's expensive. Life is expensive. And you really have to pace yourself. As you get more viewers and subscribers and you feel you can justify the investment in equipment, buy better cameras, buy better mics. Inshallah, you reach a point where you can hire your own editor, because that would free up a lot of time. And never give up. You know, there are times where I feel this is going nowhere. There are times where I feel hopeless, dejected, that I wasted my time on another project I'm not going to finish. But, also you have to remember that there are days where this feels great, where you get that extra subscriber one time, where you just like checked your page and boom, there was two new members of your community watching your videos or the positive comment. Remember the good times are coming and they make you feel great. Remember the bad times where you feel like shit, where you feel hopeless, is temporary. And you have to really keep building yourself and you have to be your own advocate. This is not a sprint. It's not about going viral, in my opinion. It's really about a marathon. You have to keep going forward and learn things that will better your channel, learn things that will better your podcast, learn new strategies, use like the short feature on YouTube, use a new editing software, maybe change the topics depending on what you really want. It will get better if you keep trying. Yeah, that's my fortune cookie regarding that. So, yeah, this is a good question. What inspired me to start the podcast? Hmm. I don't know if I'll give a like kind of a petty answer to this, but spite, Spite, and fear. Well, you know how to spell that one. So, what I mean by those is I fear mediocrity. I fear living a life completely dedicated to work. I haven't followed my own passions. I haven't followed my hopes and dreams. I haven't built anything that's my own. And then, like, at the end of my life, I'm dying. And if I'm lucky, like, not if it's like I die instantly in a car crash, but like I'm slowly dying, and I realize I didn't do shit with my life. I fear that. I don't want that to happen to me. It's unfortunate that that's probably happened to a bunch of people and will happen to a bunch of people, but I don't want that. I don't want to be that guy who worked a soul crushing 9 to 5. I don't want to be that guy who just like everything's on autopilot. I want to live each day to the fullest. I want each day to benefit me and not a company, a government, or whatever is trying to benefit off me without me mutually benefiting. I just I just want to be proud of myself. And also I want my mommy and daddy to be proud of me. And my grandmother, Teta Antoinette. I want Teta Antoinette to be super proud of me. That's a big one, big motivation. And so yeah, there's that. And so I guess I would transition from that part of the answer to like why specifically podcasting. So specifically podcasting because I don't know if you guys have noticed, I like talking, and I'll also add some other stuff. I like reading, I like researching, I like studying, I like knowing. And the unfortunate truth is you either know a lot of one thing or you know a bit of everything. And me, I'm the kind of guy who I want to know a bit of everything. And what better way of knowing a bit of everything than getting all these guests from all around the world, different jobs, different experiences, different countries, different lives, and having them tell me a piece of that. And then it's like reading multiple stories, multiple books. Maybe some books I won't like, maybe some books I'm more interested in others, but like, shit, man, I love knowing. I love information. I love reading and listening and talking because I have my own opinions. I love discussing. And I get to do that with a podcast. And when I realized a podcast, I've always wanted to know more. But when I realized the podcasting was the best way for me to do that was again when I'm scrolling through YouTube and you're starting to see more podcasters. You start with Joe Rogan basically. He's the one that popularized it all. And yeah, I started liking what was said. I started liking guests and I'm like, fuck man, why can't I do that myself? And it's happening with your support out there. It's really happening. And shit, guys, thank you for this. And yeah, like I said, Chrissy Mayer, like I enjoyed that podcast, and that's kind of what I based a lot of this on. And yeah, I hope it gets somewhere huge where I can really get to know like more people around the world and really improve the format to get the max experience and wisdom I can out of them. What is the objective of my project? The project, I assume, being this podcast and not like some pottery or it's this podcast. It's not fucking pottery. Um, the objective of this project is two things. Number one, I'm going to admit it, I want it to benefit me. Like I said, I want to learn, I want to meet interesting people. I really want to make something that's my own. I'm never going to mislead people on that. I'm never going to be like, no, no, I'm a saint. This is all for you. This is the I'm benign. I'm very charitable. Like this is all for you guys. No, 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 no. Please, I'm a martyr. No, fuck no. I'm not that. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not that. I'm not like completely like full of myself. I'm not like completely like selfish and using people, but I'm not going to pull people into thinking like I'm better than I am. I'm just human. So yeah, this will number one, my objective is like to improve my life. I want to retire my parents. I want them to like be supported the same way they support and continue to support me. I want my grandmother to be proud of me, Tete Antoinette. I fucking love her. I want my aunties to be proud of me. And I just want the people who have faith in me to be proud of me. So that's the selfish part. The second part is I do feel for a lot of people out there. I do know that a lot of people are going through stuff, similar stuff to me, and sometimes unfortunately worse than me. And I do want this this podcast to benefit people, to be of benefit, and inshallah improve people's life. But at the very minimum, make people feel better, know that they're not the only ones out there dealing with shit. Because in this really technological world, like, look at me, I'm here alone with a screen. Okay, I've got a cat right there, but I'm alone with a screen. And, you can feel isolated, whereas in the past, things were more communal. So hopefully this helps with that. So, guys, those were a bunch of the questions. We now go into the final question. And again, a good question. I need to take a breath. Let me drink some water. Throat's dry. Uh, the final question of the Q&A video is, what has been the most rewarding experience you've had podcasting so far? Again, I'm not big. I haven't been doing this so long, but I could say the most rewarding experiences I've had is when complete complete random utter strangers have started to subscribe to my channel and who have started asking to become guests on this channel, and both of these have happened very recently, and it's motivating me. It fills me with some happiness and joy, and I think it's a healthy indicator of that I seem to be doing the right thing. um Regarding follower wise, I'm noticing a lot of people completely unrelated to me, they didn't come through me personally, like asking them to. They didn't come to me through my friends and family, like reaching out and asking people to follow and subscribe and all that jazz and connect. They came through me just through stumbling upon my videos, stumbling upon my content. I even had one guy actually reach out to me and say, "Hey man, I love your video. Keep doing it." And through dedicated research and detective, I could find no indication that that person came from anyone I knew. So it means people, number one, are finding my episodes, and number two, they're finding it enjoyable and worthwhile for their time. So they subscribed, they followed, and they even reached out. And guest wise, I'm having a lot of guests now, like reaching me out on Instagram, on Facebook, even on Twitter and Reddit. And they're saying, "Hey man, love the videos. I would love to be on your channel. Let's collaborate. Let's do something. Let's make some content. This is me. This is what I bring to the table." And this is again with me not posting stuff. Hey, looking for guests. No, this is something that appears to be organic and natural. And guys, dare I be optimistic, but I think my channel's growing. So yeah, that felt pretty rewarding, and it was an experience. And I hope it keeps happening. And I do hope this channel gets better. To, as I always say, guys, get us more out there. Help us like make production better. Help us get way more interest, way interesting, way more interesting topics out the light, and even get us like a wider variety of guests. So yeah, that has been quite rewarding. So yeah, that's the end of the questions. I hope there's nothing wrong with this recording, and I hope this recorded nice and well, because sometimes you don't know, maybe the mic was off. And thank you. Thank you for the 270 subscribers. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for like helping me like gain this huge amount of traction in such a short period of time, and thank you for like letting this continue into the new year of 2024. I hope you guys will keep following me. I hope you guys will keep supporting me. I hope all you new people out there watching this will like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow Instagram, and comment and spread the word. Helps us get out there. And I'm feeling optimistic about 2024. Thank you guys. Love all of you. Happy New Year's.